back-and-forth action through online qualifiers. We are back, live and in person in Texas for our Major 1 tournament. He's still alive, and it is absolutely no stop here on the point. First major in 2022. It's Championship Sunday of the Major 1 tournament. Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. Hello and welcome back to the Optic Major 1. Coming at you live from the Esports Stadium in Arlington, Texas. And ever since Thursday came around, day by day, we've been just blessed with amazing matches, upset Cinderella stories, and outright dominance. But the storylines are even better than ever because here in Texas, Optic Texas has been leading the way and giving the crowd a little hype. And we've been having so much fun so far. You don't even got to hear from me. You can hear from me right now. Texas, make some noise! Right next to me, we have our guest analyst Chance, we have Alley Cat, and also the OG Nameless. And yo, Nameless, as an ex-champion and pro player, man, what does Championship Sunday mean to you?
It's everything, man. You don't get too many opportunities to win that championship. Only 4 teams left. These guys here, they put blood, sweat, and tears, and they want it, man. They may be tired, but the electricity in this building, everybody in here getting hyped, it'll get that adrenaline going.
And speaking about all the electricity that's been going along, Allie, you have been popping off so far this event, girl. How are you feeling? And yo, how loud is this stadium gonna get later on?
You're telling me I'm popping off? I think Optic Texas is popping off. They made the Sunday, man. They're here in winners. We're gonna see them more today. But I'm feeling incredible. It feels like the weekend went by so fast.
Right, and Chance, man, you're just greedy, man. You're hogging it all. You're on the dash. You're commentating right now. What are your expectations for today?
Yeah, I mean, we've already had so many Game 5s throughout this entire tournament. I expect Game 5s, all 4 series that we have, except for the finals, which I guess maybe that Game 9.
Now, let's talk about the energy that's been going on in the room because Optic Texas took the main stage and CDL's best Atlanta FaZe, and the reverse sweep was everything that we ever wanted.
It's just an unreal one as well, right? Because that is like very much the back against the wall situation. Against a team like this, it feels like there's no shot, and they pull it off. And Scump, by the way, I mean, he is having an unreal tournament. I mean, this man turning back the clock, or maybe he's just always been the best.
He might have to be a main AR somewhere after this year, man. He was popping off, and you know, they answered the questions, right? Like, what AR map were they going to get good at because they needed to expand their map pool to win a championship? Wangavutu Scump looked like the best AR in the world, but we got to talk about the guy that's on the screen right here. Yashi was going off, especially in that Search and Destroy alley.
Absolutely, and I can't get over this image of all 3 of them being so hype, and now she's just like, oh, they choked, bro, they choked. And Scoop and they were just like, oh my god, they fucking did it. And of course, Dashi's mom was in the crowd. You can see it here. She got really emotional. You know, it's so awesome to see parents out here supporting their players on stage.
Right, but it wasn't just fans, it wasn't just supporters, it wasn't just family that was in the audience. Nameless, I have a question, okay? Are you a fan of football?
I am. Big fan.
All right, well, yesterday we had a little celebrity appearance. Can you tell them about that?
We have Marquez Valdez-Scanlon in here, man, and you know, it's tough for me because I'm a Bears fan. We've held many L's to the Packers, so, you know, everybody's a fan of Call of Duty, and having MVS in here, you can see it was insane energy. Even he can feel it. He plays in some of the biggest stadiums in the world, so, you know, it's a testament to this crowd. But shout out to him, man. He loves Call of Duty, and he's amazing at it as well.
And take a look at our buddy hopping the hype from Scump right there. Chance, I gotta ask you, man, with this being my first ever CDL major, okay, I heard the rumors, I heard all the hype about how hype it gets here, but what we heard yesterday was deafening.
Loudest crowd in Call of Duty history, I think, without question. And I think, most importantly for me, getting more creative with the chants, right? TST has been doing an incredible job. It's not just standard, let's go Optic. You got the green ball chants.
Finally.
You got them talking a little bit of smack call. It's overrated as well. I mean, the crowd has been unbelievable. My favorite one so far.
You got that right. And ladies and gentlemen, coming into this event, there were 12 teams, but today there are just 4 left, like a moth chasing a flame. They're all addicted to success, and they want to reach the end. And chance, there are 2 European teams and 2 North American teams. Yo, that's wild, man.
I mean, that's unbelievable. I don't know if we've ever seen something like that in Call of Duty history to get those 2 EU teams in the mix, but Atlanta is also another focus point, right?
Yeah.
They go from getting the reverse sweep to completing the reverse sweep, and I mean, talk about hitting that instant bounce back. And I gotta say, that is a missed opportunity from the rest of the league, man. You had a chance to put this team down. You missed it. They made it to Sunday, and you know these guys are going to be fiending to make amends for their loss yesterday.
I mean, this is where these guys turn up, is on Championship Sunday, man. LA Thieves had to take them out. I know some teams are watching it like, please beat them. Well, it didn't happen. Atlanta FaZe, you know, a team with the deepest map pool, they're going to make a run today.
Right, and everybody was talking about, you just don't take the Thieves to Kavoo 2, you don't take them to Kavoo 2. Well, guess what? Atlanta did, and what happened?
Atlanta smacked them around. We saw that spawn trap in the back of Tower Hill. That was a little painful to watch if you're an LA Thieves fan, but I don't think that they should be too down on themselves. Even though they got reverse swept, they still hung with FaZe. They still started to make the losers run, but FaZe, man, they looked like a different animal last night.
Right, and there was another big run that happened this event. We saw Boston do pretty well, getting a really good top placement for their first ever CDL major, but Toronto has something to say about a chance.
In Toronto, I mean, they might be the most interesting team still in the mix, right? Because their top 4 literally haven't won a single hard point. I don't know if I've ever seen like the true 2-3-5 squad, but I don't even know if I can expect that continued, right? But they might start pulling off hard point wins. Like, the teamwork has been unreal. They've just been in a very strange position, but I don't know. We'll see if they can make things pan out because, I mean, they're still top 4. They haven't looked their best.
Absolutely, man. And we got to show some love to Toronto Ultra getting through with the 2-3-5. You know, I feel like everybody's super hyped about the LA Thieves. You know, they win 1-4 and then steal one other map throughout the series, most likely the Control. Well, they're doing the same thing just with Search and Destroy, but for some reason, people aren't as impressed by that. And in my opinion, it's a little bit more impressive that you're able to consistently win those Search and Destroys. So Toronto Ultra, they win a hard point. These teams are in trouble.
Which is a total turnaround, right? Because they were struggling on Search and Destroy so much, and now Search and Destroy wins championships, and Toronto's looked unstoppable since they put the sniper inside hands.
Right, but I'm also, another surprise that happened this event, Paris Legion, you know, Nameless, coming into this event, making a team change. The expectations for this team weren't really high at all, but they were able to get a big win, and the CDL looks hopeful for not just them, but a lot of other teams here in this league.
Yeah, I mean, they got a little bit better, right? Like, there's going to be no free wins in the CDL. You know, obviously, they still only won 1 match, right? It's nothing to really write home about, but bringing in Tom Gravity, I think that's really the story, is him finally getting his shot. He's able to get, you know, turn this team around, get them a win, because most people didn't even expect them to win a map coming into this series, and they end up taking out a team like Seattle. So, huge win out of them. I still think they're a change away from really competing with some of our better teams in the league, but, you know, something has to be said about it. He came in, he added structure, Temp had some better moments, and they looked a lot better.
I actually love the fact that they made this change, and kind of, you know, they had some success with it, and coming stage 2, wonder if there's going to be a few more team changes, but let's go ahead and see how this event has unfolded. Take your eyes to the left of your screen and slowly pan to the right. Take a look at all those names and what remains today. At the top of the bracket, we got Optic Texas facing off against the London Royal Ravens, but then we have Toronto Ultra facing off against Atlanta FaZe, and chance, this is it.
And it's such an interesting bracket, too, because, honest to God, I have no idea who's going to win it, right? Like, I mean, you're looking at the best of 9 for that finals, and I think the team with the strongest map pool has been FaZe, but they got reversed by Optic, so Optic can be strong. I doubted Ravens before, but, hey, they proved me wrong yesterday, so there is honestly no telling, and especially Ultra, if they can just win a single hard point. That might be a GG's in the comp.
Now, this event isn't all about bragging rights or just placing first place. I mean, that's nice and all, but these players are going to walk away with a whole lot of money. $200,000 going home to the first place champs. Hey, yo, Allie, what would you do with that type of money?
You know what? I don't really think anybody cares about what I would do with that money, but personally, I would go have like I'd make a garden somewhere, I'd buy a cottage in the middle of nowhere, and I wouldn't talk to any of you people again, because this is stressful, man.
Now, let's go ahead and preview the games that will go down today, and let's talk about it. This is going to be a really tough one, okay? Toronto are looking kind of opposite in regards to their success in game modes, but Atlanta, they have a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, Atlanta has a chip on their shoulder, and they have an extremely deep map pool, as Chance mentioned. And what we saw yesterday was Abizi and Simp taking over in that Game 5. Abizi was pissed that he played bad in that Search and Destroy versus Optic Texas. It was a complete turnaround, man. This is an Atlanta team that can battle from anything. We saw these teams play last year throughout the entire year. Every single series was a banger, but Atlanta had their number. They have the confidence over the Toronto Ultra. Being the better team in Respawn, I'm favoring Atlanta.
So my question is, do you guys think that we actually might see Atlanta make it to the grand finals and possibly a rematch of what we saw yesterday, Optic versus FaZe?
That may very well be the case, but keep in mind, Optics still have to get past the Ravens. We can't get ahead of ourselves, but yes, if I was a betting man, I think FaZe go to the finals. I think they have the deepest map pool, and I still think they're going to be able to pull out that W, but at the same time, maybe a little bit shook, right? Maybe the crowd's getting to them. I don't know if I've ever seen a player like Abizi drop a donut in a map like that, and the fact that they got 6-0'd on Tuscan, like, it is impossible to predict.
Right. I don't know about you guys personally, but Allie, to me, I feel like that home crowd advantage definitely played a big part in that win for Optic as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're big momentum-based players, especially the King Scum. I mean, he's a literal animal, but when it comes to Atlanta FaZe, I don't think that they will make it to the final. I think the fact that so many teams have pushed them to the limit, and now they're going against Toronto Ultra, the second best team last year, the only people that could hang with them last year, they're going to have to go against in the losers final. I see an upset, man.
You see an upset right now. You think Atlanta FaZe won't make it to the finals or Toronto Ultra? We got some claps in the crowd.
Atlanta FaZe ain't going out like that. 7-1 on the season, the deepest map pool, the best map record. These guys are amazing in all three game modes. They got to take the series versus Toronto, unless Toronto miraculously learned how to play hardpoint waking up today.
Yep.
Don't see it going to the side of the Ultra.
Well, all this talk about Atlanta FaZe, we actually caught up with one of their coaches, Crowder. You guys already know the deal when it comes to him. Let's go ahead and hear what he had to say.
I'm joined now by the head coach of Atlanta FaZe, Crowder. Dude, yesterday was a big one. Your team lost 5 straight maps, and then you bring the reverse sweeping against LA Thieves. How do you manage to put it all together?
Honestly, we just kind of fell into a rut with individual solo chows. Like, we weren't playing that well with our teamwork, and our communication was just a little off, where it was like, it seemed like it was so frantic that we were kind of missing comms and not listening to each other. So we just talked about it when we kind of got it down just in time, kept it close there, but, I was happy with the way we bounced back, and it showed that, we're never out of it until it's over, so I was proud of the boys.
Absolutely. It was a long day. Obviously, the guys are well rested now. First up, you've got Toronto Ultra, a team you've got a wonderful rivalry with, I feel like, here in the CDL. They haven't won a hard point yet. Will today be the day? And without giving away too much, what's the game plan going into the match?
Honestly, the game plan against a team like Toronto, yeah, they're struggling in hardpoint, but you can never take them lightly, right? So it's just more or less like making sure that we are playing our game plan and just sticking to what we know what we can do. Team chows, this team is notoriously known for good teamwork, right? So like we can't do the individual chows against these guys and make sure we're just making sure we're on our plan, right? And I think we can do that.
Wish you the best of luck, mate. Last question. Any bad blood between you and the Optic camp? It was wild out there in the crowd yesterday.
No, I just think that's just, man, 2 great teams, right? Like, they're so good, we're so good, and when it comes down to it, it's always going to be a close one, and there's going to be a lot of competitiveness there, but they're great guys over there, and hopefully we see them again.
Can't ask for any more, mate. Thank you very much. Good luck in the games.
By the way, Miles' coat right there is just simply phenomenal.
Star-Lord vibes.
Yeah, your duo is wilding out right now, man.
He always has been. There's no stopping him. He's an animal. I mean, 2021 play-by-play caster of the year is the best in the business.
English is hard, okay? All right, but ladies and gentlemen, enough talk about, the pre-show and whatnot. Let's get into the match to come. The first matchup of the day, the London Royal Ravens and the Optic Texas team. And nameless, this one, I don't even gotta say it, man. The crowd is loving it. How do you feel about this matchup?
I think London's going to put up a really good fight. Look at the maps here, and, it's Berlin, Gab, Tuscan, and Bocage, and London honestly did a really good job here, man. All these maps are fantastic on besides map 2, especially games 1 and 4. Both hardpoints, they're undefeated across both of those, so Optic has their work cut out for them, man. Optic has not won a Berlin yet.
All right, now when it comes to the game field keys of victory, other than the insane green wall that's sitting behind his alley, what does Optic Texas have to do?
Well, Nameless just said it, right? They gotta take advantage of Berlin. S&D London is 1-5 on the map this season, and Dashy MVP is up 1.39 KD this major, especially in that Tuscan control. I believe he put up like a 1.4, and in green wall and hardpoint setups this season, Texas is second in hold percentage. London is first in break percentage. So you have to be ready for the aggression of London in the front, but they have been struggling to rotate, which again is something Optic has been on point for so far this off.
But they're gonna have to be on point for this match, man. That's contagious right now because they're going against the London Royal Ravens, and even though Optic has all the hype behind them, and there might be some boos in the crowd, London is one of the most terrifying teams this event.
And they're also like, maybe not an unknown quality at this point, but like they're just hard to evaluate because they're still so fresh. Like so many of these guys, it's their first time seeing them on land, and they have performed so incredibly well. But I mean, going against Optic in front of the home crowd, that is the true test.
They got that right. And Nameless, this team that we all thought was underrated heading into the season, and now they're one of the top dogs. What are their game fuel keys of victory to beat out Optic?
Well, I'm going to add one key to victory, and it's got to take map 1. It's Berlin Hardpoint. Optic has not won that, and they take that map, put themselves in a good spot. But also, Zero continue the hot form, 1.2 KD this major. Yesterday at a 1.4 just in Hardpoint alone, and then improve your man-down situations in Search and Destroy. 15% 3v4 win rate. S&D this season is last in the league. Not able to get over that adversity in the Search and Destroys. Gonna have to be better today versus an Optic team that 6-0 phase last night. And then also counter Optic offensive B pushes on Berlin S&D, winning 71% of their B breaks, have only gone a 3x.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time to get this ball on the road. We got London Royal Ravens, we have Optic Texas, and we also have a very quiet arena. Now, for all of you that are sitting behind me right now, let's let the people at home know what they're missing out on. If you're this happy for Championship Sunday right now, let's go ahead and make some noise. Sunday underway.
time in a long time we have London here on Sunday. But now we also have our hometown heroes Optic. Who will walk away with the win? Let's find out. Without further ado, Texas, let's bring them out to the stage. You know them. You love them. Let's make some noise. Ladies and gentlemen, stand up. Why not? Let's get on our feet. Let's get this going the right way. Ladies and gentlemen, Optic Texas! Storm the stage indeed, Billy. They're in unfamiliar territory. They've never seen anything like this, heard anything like this, and felt anything like this on a Sunday. Let's see what they're made of. Ladies and gentlemen, the London Royal Ravens! Afro, Gizmo, Nasty, and Zero.
And an interesting team to be booing, right? Americans might be a little different than the Brits. I think the Brits will feed off that energy.
Miles, let's go ahead and get this show going, baby.
man. Obviously, Optic, the way they were able to handle that series versus Atlanta in the reverse sweep, and then they get to 6-0 in search and destroy, that was insane from them. And on the opposite side for London, they're undefeated in hardpoint so far at this major. They're just playing so damn good. If you are Optic, this map number 1 is everything, because for Royal Ravens, they're sitting at 4-1. They have a 61% break rate on this map. And the last time that these two teams played, they also beat it by 100. So Optic need to enter in this series early.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And the one thing that you have to consider when we're in an environment like this is that sometimes stats get thrown out the window. All of those things considered, we will see how our maps and modes are looking. It will be Berlin hardpoint, Berlin search destroy, Kabuto control, Tuscan hardpoint, and if it can go the distance, a rematch on Bocage search and destroy, the same game 5 that these teams had when they faced last time around. Here we go, folks. It is time. Match number 1 of Championship Sunday. It's our first of the season. And what, Jay? Anton, put it on the desk. Vitos. We really like these for Ravens, especially considering how the game 1 hardpoints have looked. They are 4-1 on this throughout the season. And when we talk about a young roster, right, for this Ravens team, Zero the vet, but you got Afro, who's basically what? A 2-year player, a sophomore. 2 rookies on this team with a crowd like this. Confidence is important off the rip.
100%. I think the most important player on that roster has to be Zero. He's going up against the green wall, not only on the stage, but in the fans as well.
Yeah.
He has to make sure that he's leading such a young team to success, and also putting up that same performance that he had yesterday, a 1.38 in the series versus Toronto. But here we go. Optic spawning on the better side into the P1 hardpoint.
As we said, a huge hardpoint already off the start, and it is Dashy drawing first blood, a guy who absolutely is in contention for MVP for this event. Hosts what, like a good 1.3, nearly a 1.4 KD. Impressive stuff to say the least, as Texas walking away with 20 unanswered points, but Nasty starting things off with a 4 spring.
Nasty on a 4, but so far Optic are holding every single second. 25 seconds remaining on this hill. Got to start thinking about that rotation. Shots is going to win a huge one-on-one. All left up the Scump. He takes him down. Takes down the second as well. So Optic starting off this game with a flawless P1 hold.
And Gizmo doing everything he can to hold up this rotation as well. It is going to be a nice 2v2. As Nasty will also shut down Scump in the meantime. So Ravens inside of the hill, but take a look at player number 1. Ashley is on the cross. He's prepared for spawns. Nice long range shots. Not a Bruce. As he'll apply the pressure toward the back end. Meanwhile, it's Optic beginning to rush in from the front. They're walking away with the kills, and now the Ravens. Last 2 inside. Here comes the break. Here comes the opportunity. And Texas will seize the advantage that they set themselves up for.
And now there's 40 seconds remaining on this hill. Optic are in. But look at number 8 on your mini-map. He's going to try to flip these spawns. Afro trying to make his way into fire. Now Optic are able to put a couple kills together. Continue growing this lead. Scump on fire to start this game. Able to take down 2 players. He was able to spot Afro as well, going for the 3rd. Not able to take him down, but London do flip the spawn. Your Optic, number 1 in Dashy, has to try to work up on the street side.
Oh, and he gets dropped as well. Great position already for Ravens, especially if they can walk away with the final 10 seconds, not just getting the final points at Library, but as well setting up for one of the best hard points on this very map and mode. But take a look at Shotzi, maybe sneaking his way through. As we said, a big play, a huge hill, but information is going to be found. Shotzi going to do his best to try to stay alive. Dodges and survives. And takes down Gizmo in the process, trying to buy some time for Texas. As thankfully Nasty is there to shut him down. So Ravens with the early time, but Optic are here, Jay.
Yeah, the spawn's flipped, so now Optic just have to set up this push. Number 2 trying to attack through fire. Illy takes down 1. Multiple trades going down towards this back door. Only 2 players left from London. And this hill, Scump does find 2. Last player here is going to be Zero. He gets taken down by Scump. Scump on a 3 spree.
Scump off to a great start. Nasty considering the next hard point. We'll see if he looks to push this. Maybe gain some information, take a few players down in stride. But as he falls, take a look at player 2. Illy's going to go for the rotation. Where are Ravens going to spawn? Okay, so they're going to spawn basically toward the back alley. And Shotzi, he can read this as he gets the good timing. No, he does not. Back and forth we go, and pretty much an even game as we head into our 4th hard point of the first set of rotations. London hanging in there. As we said a moment ago, Texas doing a great job at breaking through the setups, but London, another test, another opportunity.
we'll see how they look to handle this. Pressure from either side is Nasty. Trying to stay alive, also trying to improve points. And great teamwork there. The automatons firing well at trains.
So far, this has been the Ravens' best hill on this map. When it pops, they get a majority of like 25 to 30 seconds every time they get towards the P4 hardpoint. And this is why. They have a perfect setup. Gizmo holding down the back spawns. Now you have a couple players from Optic spawning out towards Fire. And with 25 seconds left, Optic cannot let them get all this time.
The crowd trying to get behind him. As Dashy now finds double digits in this game. Final 13 left for Trains. And another big 1v1. Every second is big right now for Texas. But we will reset and now fly our way back in toward P5. But as we said, Jake, the Ravens, when it comes down to this moment in time, it's good to see them coming out as strong as they have looked. As we said, this is a team that you want to see answer early, considering the young players that they have got over in their camp. Let's go and step aside and see how the comms sound in what is a very, very big game for the Optic side. Let's go to a listen with Texas.
underneath this.
Here might be one.
One is underneath them.
One shot.
I'm from we set this up. We set this up.
Really big fire tank. Really big. He's going in fires.
I'm on control. Go fire tank. In post track.
Yo, watch out.
Are you? I'm sitting down.
Watch out.
Watch out, and I need to rent it down.
What's the alley?
I'm watching guys.
What's pushing up?
You get close very long, and then we'll get
Watch out.
Let's just sit down.
Watch out.
Both their settled.
One more class. I need more for you. I went, watch out, louder. How are you? He jumped out, outer. How many help, boys? I'm just holding, I'm holding Ellie on me. Just close Ellie on me, boys. Ellie got me.
Court Trey.
Are you?
Where? Oh, he's still getting.
Yeah, I spawned fire right now. Yeah, I'm going to court right now.
I know.
Gotta get to him.
Where's he? Dead.
Nice. You got it.
He's off his side.
Yeah, I'm absolute.
I don't see him.
He jumped out. Nice. Long.
Are you?
I'm on another.
Are you? I'm on that. Yo, yeah, we clipped. I picked her.
Really big game. Really big.
Yeah, you want to
Get the guys.
Gate.
I'm right. I'm on her. I don't see you.
Up out. Yo, long.
Where's he? Yo, we're gonna deep street. Yo, stay alive.
Come on. I'm one here.
I'm in close right now.
Just stay alive there, Brendan.
Yo, long Gizmo.
Yo, how many shots? Yo, he's sitting
Didn't build.
Last step. Are you?
I'm just holding close.
I don't see anything yet. Yo, on you.
Nice.
Go.
You jumped down.
I'm long right now. I don't see anything long.
So overall, good comms out of the Optic Texas side. More specifically, they've got themselves back in the game. Shotzzy sits on a 5 spree. We got to listen in with Optic Texas. Let's now check in with the Ravens.
Fire going from P5, I think, on the door. P5.
Help me talk, boys.
Just hide. What's your ball? The B1 dead. From P5. Build us up.
It's on.
Stops. Back door. Any dead?
Nice, get on. Nice.
Look at the dash.
That's fine. Listen, have you stopped?
Back door, dash you weak.
Stack it. Have you top?
Nice, Jay. What's front tip? Back door,
need help.
Over him, set up.
Deep street, Illy.
Open.
Illy's on the truck. Don't listen to him first. Play tight.
Yeah, play this time. This is the time.
Nice.
Nice. I'm moving you in, bro.
Listen, I got to come back. No, but he's going for it. That's you behind the back pillar.
Yes, I'm going far. I'm
He was not far. To be push right.
I'm missing the guy's street, okay?
Yeah.
Go deep street, view.
Hold on me, bro.
The fuck, where about? Nice, shit. What's up? Let's fire. You ready? Push up.
I'm going low. Go deep street. I can't see him.
Let's go.
He's on deep. He's on far deep. Couldn't see him. Deep. He's one shot. He's up.
Push up. Told you.
Sounded beautiful from the Ravens side, especially Zero. He so far is just leading the way for his team. 20-13, setting up his young SMG players to hold it down properly. You saw right there with 20 seconds left, he was rotating towards flat. He eventually dies, but he allows his teammates to get that P2 hardpoint uncontested. And right now, London, they are just rolling 188 to 121. Optic need to stop this bleeding.
Yeah, they're going to have to do so. And what? I mean, to start off the year with the Ravens, the conversation was almost on the week link of Zero. How is he going to perform, right? How is he going to look, especially after the first few games? We knew that the conference was going to be there in Nasty, Gizmo, and Afro. But so far, Zero is leading by example for his young core, doing the best job that he can. to get this franchise to the finals. A massive moment for Optic Texas, a hill that can bring them back in this. The Ravens still lingering. Ravens still around. We'll see how Optic looks to try to handle this. How they look to handle the pressure. Nice start from Zero. He instantly does rather get traded out. Dashy still holding on toward the top office. Still lingering, still hanging out. 30 valuable points left, but Gizmo and Nasty combine for 2. Shotzzy decides to pull up the AR, but he falls as well. A hard point in which Optic has struggled on previously continues to rear its ugly head. Ravens doing a great job, at least contesting the hills, not allowing for Optic to really get some seconds on it. Finally, the board does get wiped clean. Final 10 seconds as we prepare for our final hill of the second side.
And look at the play that Illy is trying to make. Only being down by 65 points currently. You want to try to flip these spawns so you can at least try to chain it towards that P1 hard point. But Nasty, he's putting a couple kills in the feed together. London able to find 3. Illy last player up as the spawns do flip. If you are London, Optic give up a lot of time on this P5 hard point. Potentially close it out here.
It's all on to Texas. It's all on how Optic look to play. There's so many variables. They have to worry about the time. They have to worry about so many things. At this moment, it's 2 lined up for Illy. Maybe a moment where some light begins to shine on through, but as he gets dropped as well, the time only continues to rack up for the Ravens. Optic will finally break on in, but as we said, they cannot come at a more desperate time. Skunk looks to pressure out the spawns as he gets taken down. Keep in mind, player number 6, Nasty, has made his way through the setup. He gets dealt with. Sweat off the brow type of situation if you're Optic as they prepare for new. The flanks will only look to continue as Gizmo. He gets dealt with as well. As we love to say, Jay, perfect hard point from this point on.
They need to make sure that they hold down this P1 for a full 60. And it all starts by just winning your gunfights. You see Zero, 30 and 17. One player in number 6 trying to go for the ultra flank, which is going to be Nasty. Scuff does find one. Shotzzy just stalling out time. Just making Nasty waste a lot of time to try to pick up this kill, but so far Optic, 40 seconds, they've got 20 uncontested. The pressure's coming from the front. Illy and Dashy take down 2, and eventually Nasty and Gizmo, they find 2 of their own. They break in.
Gizmo finds 2, and just like that, the Ravens have close spawns. They get the squads right there. Only 3 more seconds. Texas have got to break on through. Skunk drops as well, and that will be the game. London coming into Optic Texas territory and walking away with the game 1 hardpoint, as we said, with a young roster like this. Coming out and having a statement type of performance was not just hopeful, it was necessary, and they get it done.
It all came down to that P2 hardpoint where London, they were controlling the spawns towards back warehouse. They were able to hold that for about 45 seconds. And then eventually Optic, they were setting up for that P3 hardpoint, but then they were just pushed out way too far towards the middle of the map. The way the Ravens, they were able to pick up 2 kills and then eventually flip those spawns 20 seconds into that P3 hardpoint. If you're Optic, you gotta make sure you're not dying off rotation. You gotta make sure you're playing fundamentally correct. And unfortunately right there for Shotzzy, 15 and 28, didn't really have a hot start in that map, number 1. London take it, now they're going into a search and destroy where London are not really good at Berlin. They're going to be sitting at 1 and 5. Optic are 3 and 2. But this is the map that Optic needs to get in this series.
Yeah, without question. I mean, kind of from a bird's eye point of view, or maybe even a Ravens point of view type of situation, we came into this saying it was necessary for the Ravens to win the hardpoint, considering how shaky the search and destroys have been. But based off the stats, right, based off the records, this is a Ravens team that looked like, right, that they are undefeated in hardpoint so far throughout the weekend. A team that is now 5 and 1 on Berlin specifically. As we said, they needed an answer, and specifically, it's incredible, man. It's 0, 30 and 18.
And the crazy stuff is that London, Nasty, Gizmo, and Afro are always running around together. Zero is the guy that's going for the ultra flank, going for the late pinches, and just allowing his teammates to be super aggressive or flip those spawns whenever he wants. He was controlling that game from start to finish. He was just controlling the spawns. He was hitting the left side towards that P3, and then every time that Optic were trying to get towards P4, that is where London, that was their best hard point. The fact that they were able to get at least a good 35 to 40 seconds on 2 rotations of that hill, great job from them. They just have to keep up that momentum. Good start for them in this series.
Yeah, and as we said, that momentum is so crucial for a young roster like this. Yeah, I think they're on average one of the youngest teams that we have in the entirety of the CDL. For those that maybe aren't as familiar with the Ravens, basically built like the Seattle Surge for the most part, right? A veteran in combination with some young pieces and some young stars at that, as these guys answer early.
And the one thing that's even more scary for me is that the last time that these guys matched up, it was the very first match of the qualifier. They go all the way to a Game 5. The only 3 players that were over a 1.0 KD was everyone on the side of London but Zero. And if Zero is playing the way that he is right now, this is going to be a tough team to try to take down.
And I know we always talked about it, right? You know, the consideration for the best player in Europe is, and I think it's fair to say, man, Zero is making the case, obviously, with the win yesterday versus Bance. His case definitely gets increased a decent amount, but having W's like this, taking Optic the way that he has so far in this series, we'll see how it continues to progress, definitely increases his chances of holding on to that title. But now, my friend, walk into this next Search and Destroy. As we said, it has been really the strength for Optic. Typically, when we talk about Optic teams of old, it has not necessarily been the strength in the Search and Destroys. It has been more about the respawn. It's been more about the raw slaying talent. And specifically in Search and Destroy, the guy who started off, right, that Tuscan Search and Destroy, the ace versus FaZe, Shotzzy leads the way for this team throughout the year.
Yeah, throughout qualifiers, Optic, their biggest game mode that they needed to work on was S&D. But just watching them yesterday in that 6-0 versus Atlanta FaZe, their teamwork was insane. Shout out to the coaching staff of Rambo Ray and Sender, because he just wanted to make sure that the coordination was there. Everything, team names was on point. Everyone was setting up for Crossfire. They need to have that same exact mentality here, because that teamwork, when you can do that versus Atlanta FaZe, your S&D should basically be unstoppable.
And that's, I think, what a lot of people thought would, or rather they would hope would happen with bringing in a coach like Rambo, obviously having Cinder there as well, and then, right, you bring in some excellent pieces, a player like Illy, who, I mean, has been playing Search Destroy tournaments since he was like 11. I think he said he won his first gold when he was barely like 9 or 10 years old. The guy's been playing it for a while. We know the talent of a player like Shotzzy, especially how he can handle those up close and personal SMG fights. This is what we wanted and what we hoped that we would see from this Optic team, because as we said, Jay, previously, Optic rosters, they dropped the opening hard point, and that is where we start to get scared. But knowing what we do, Search Destroy it, this is what they expect.
Yeah, this is exactly what they expect. And if you guys just saw that graphic, they really like to attack this B-bomb on Berlin. 71% attack rate. They basically do not even go towards that A-bomb. So if you're London, you probably want to stack that side of the map.
We'll see the preparation where it's got them. As we said, the Ravens have been on Berlin many times and have yet to see a ton of success. Quite a few round 11s, quite a bit of overtime moments for this Ravens roster, sitting with a 1-5 record. On the other side for Optic, they've seen more success here. Take a look at that. Number 1 in offensive wins as well, and obviously a lot of that has to do with the way they like to work the sites.
And just looking at these stats from Zero, 1.67 on that map, number 1. Gotta try to slow this guy down if you are on the side of Optic, but here we go. Optic having Illy carry that bomb. Look towards B, but all out aggressive towards A. Gizmo gets the first.
The total opposite of what we like to expect is Afro. A huge kill is going to give the Ravens instantly the man count advantage, not just for 1, but for 2. A great double kill there from the youngster, as now it's Illy left in the 1 versus 3. Granted, he does have the bomb. He's going to look to plant that one down. Plenty of space and a lot of room to work with, but that room is about to change.
Yeah, this is not going to be easy. Illy is a great Search and Destroy player. All 3 players from London are just stacking. Playing very effectively, but he's able to take down 1. Now in 1v2 situation, they know the positioning of Illy. Just going to try to back down. Just a couple of tacticals. He's able to at least spot 1 player crossing towards that bomb. There's only 20 seconds left. Illy can potentially clutch this.
They didn't see him. They did not see him go into library. They have no idea that he's here. Afro. That's going to be nearly the first. Pulls out the pistol and gets it done. Afro. It doesn't matter. Illy coming out hot. A 1v3 in round 1.
What a play out of Illy.
He's getting loud.
To just go for that 1v3 bomb play. He takes down the first and just plays it beautifully. If you're London, you have to try to watch that cross. You cannot allow that player to reflank you, but that's exactly how you want to start it if you're Optic in this map number 2.
There you see the tweets. Today we finish what we started. A similar impact to the Search and Destroy yesterday. We saw Shotzzy with the ace. This time it's Illy with the 1v3. Ravens instantly on the attack. They're going to have to get that out of their minds instantly as the Texas boys decide to vacate the bomb site. That's only going to give more room for Ravens to work. As Dassey's got the objective on his back, and Afro's position is going to be known. He found 2 very valuable kills in that search destroy. Set his teammates up nicely. Overall, did not get the job done, but how about the nade from Illy again?
Down to 4v3. Optic do have the man advantage. Scump does spot a player. Illy's on a 4-speed. Dashi takes down Nasty as well. Illy should be able to come behind this player. The shots he takes him down to 1v4. Easy read coming in from Dashi. 4 up, 4 down. Optic get the round.
Are you kidding me? Illy ran out the hallway, doesn't even look toward his left. Why? Because Dashi has his back.
Telling you, the crossfires are there, man.
I was going to say, you said that yesterday. You're like, the crossfires, they're accidentally having these incredible crossfires. This team coordination is absolutely fantastic. And of course, it all starts off with the nade, which is what just seems to be the story in Search Destroy. Whether it's the Thieves or whether it's Optic, the nades seem to be telling us the story so far at our Major 1 tournament. No trophies, and at least if you're Optic, no problem for now, as Illy starting things off 4-0. And Texas look to make it a nice 3-0 start. Now back on attack.
And London to be a but automatic Dashi gets another first blood. Yesterday in that game 5 versus Atlanta, he got 5 out of 6 first bloods. In the 6-0, he finds the second as well. Immediately going to be a 4v2 Optic. They had the man advantage. It's eventually time to work this objective.
Who said the auto can't be great in close range? Dashi showing us all kinds of ways to maneuver. A very valuable weapon in this game, as we know. Gizmo, Illy, gonna gain the haircut. Dashi looking for the A0, the last man alive, and he'll go for a dip. 3 up and 3 down. 3 impressive rounds from Texas.
And I'm pretty sure Optic have 2 players who have yet to die. Dashi's on a 5 spree, Illy's on a 4, so they can both work towards that glide bomb. But this has been textbook Search and Destroy coming in from Optic in these early rounds. If you're in London, this is the round you need to try to stop the bleeding. The crowd is starting to get into it. Greenwald needs the energy. But here we go. London back on the attack. This time they're going to go towards B.
See what they can do. Zero watches the cross, so he'll have information that it's going to be a 2-2 split. Ravens with that info, you gotta be careful. They know that Dash is back here with the sniper, but on the other end, it's Illy. Up close already at the docks, and he'll also escape with his life as well. Slithering back, great positioning. Texas once more with the first blood, and Ravens having that bomb dropped. You can see it, just a little bit of a rattling of the mine. Somewhat scrambled for the moment, 50 seconds left. As Afro looks to make a play, but again, Ravens with no real awareness, no real positioning of where the Texas players are at.
3v4 situations for the Ravens are usually not successful. They have a 50% win rate when they are down a man, but Illy at least takes down 1 before he is traded. So in the 3v2 situation, 30 seconds left. The bomb is going to be picked up. Afro tries to attack this towards B, but look at number 4. He's going to slowly try to work this flank, try to get great timing on Zero.
Oh, and he absolutely could. He absolutely could, Scump. Around the Rosie, thank you very much. All on to Afro, now in a 1v2. 13 seconds left, but this one not going to belong to Scump either. 10 more seconds. And Afro, does he elect to go for the plant? He does. He actually does hop on it. He'll have time for the plant. Dashi gonna have to challenge this quick. Afro's prepared. Sitting on 5 in a row is Bruce. What a round this could be for the Ravens. What a round it could be for London. It's Dashi. Of course, it's Bruce again. Denying the 1v3 and giving Optic their 4th round in a row.
Dashi stepping up in this game, number 2, 6-1 on a 6-3. Got a little scary though when Scump loses that gunfight, forces it to the 1v1. But Dashi, he's got some ice in his veins. Able to clutch it up. Now 1 off that glide bomb. Back on the attack. Once again, this is what Optic do. They slow, steady towards that B bomb. Eventually they go for that bomb plant. Zero's at least able to spot 1 player wrapping back. So number 7, which is going to be Gizmo. The attack is going to come in from Optic. Is either he has to get 1 or get out with his life.
Zero has to know that's a bait, right? He obviously saw the nade get thrown. There's nobody there. Ravens gonna have to be ready for this. The information given from the vet and Gizmo. The young gun picking up. The veteran getting the information, but Scump and Dashy combined for two, just like that. Dashy as well earns the glide bomb. Zero rotates with the sniper as it's gonna have to be him and Nasty with the man disadvantage. Quickly even, now 2v2, but Scump spots Nasty. All on to Zero with the sniper, a 1v2. Can he catch the timing? Can he catch the timing as one player looks to rotate Scump? Spot does in fact spot him.
Double challenge.
That's what they're gonna have to do. They're gonna have to do that. But Zero looks to reposition. Optic not gonna go for the plant. They look to go for the rush. They want the kill. They're hungry for it. They're chasing him down. Zero has no idea that they've been here the whole time. No play, no problem. 5-0.
This has been flawless search and destroy. Dashy 8-1. Keep in mind, now they're going into a defense. He has that glide bomb to work with. So if you're London, B is basically chalked. You do not want to give up that first blood to the glide bomb. It has to be an all-out A attack. If I'm Optic right here, you stack that A bomb, allow Dashy to eventually just sit and fire, try to play for a pick. When you play that A bomb, don't allow them to play B. This should be a flawless 6-0 from Optic.
Are we really going to see another 6-0? 11 rounds straight out of Optic, Texas. As you called it, it's going to have to be an A-push. Everybody aware of such as the streak remains in the balance. Scump nearly turns on the second 2v2. Now it's all up to Nasty. 1v1. Bruce versus Nasty. Considering that Dashy does have that streak, it could really come down to timing if Nasty decides to rotate this.
And honestly, Nasty tried to take this bomb towards B. Dashy, he's watching this cross. He's just trying to go back and forth. If he can get great timing, all you have to do is invest that glide bomb. You should be able to close it out. But Nasty, he's going to try to go through fire and play for this gunfight.
Dasher sees him. Dasher's got him in his sights. Another 6-0. Are you kidding me? They do it yesterday versus Atlanta, and now they do it versus London. 12 rounds in a row. We've got ourselves a series, baby.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Optic coming alive. That's 12 rounds in a row for Search and Destroy for the Green Wall. Flawless S&D right there. Now they're going into a control. It's going to be on Gabutu, and I'm pretty sure Optic, so far, their record in control are 6-1. But just look at the stat line from Dashy. 9-1 taking over the game. Illy starts it off by getting that 1v3. Such a tone setter right off the rip of the game. London just simply didn't have an answer. Probably would have been that Afro 1v3 if he would have got it. But Dashy just shuts him down, man. That was clean Search and Destroy from Optic.
And you think, too, like you go back to the 1v3 from Illy, right? That clutch, that ability to allow for that record to remain intact, that had to tilt London in a number of different ways. And we've got ourselves a 1-1 game, and I know we've got Gabutu control to talk about, but Jay, real fast, what has impressed you the most? I mean, I know that we can talk about a number of different things for Optic. Obviously, they're flawless in Search and Destroy these last two games. But what has been the most impressive thing? What's been the biggest difference maker from the qualifiers now to the major?
Just their teamwork, man. You can just tell that they're communicating every single second. Like right there, even though there's
From the qualifiers now to the major.
just their teamwork, man. You can just tell that they're communicating every single second. Like right there, even though there's one player left,